Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this AFK journey video. So in today's AFK journey video, we're going to talk about EX weapon 20 to 25 or which units you should bring to EX20 or EX25. And this question was asked in my yesterday's EX weapon priority, and I've seen this comment quite a few times, but I think I did mention this before in one of my EX weapon videos where I'll recommend you to push your EX weapon to 20 or 25 if you use the units a lot. So I'll take this opportunity to showcase my account and all the units which I brought to EX20 and 25 and explain why I brought this unit there and give you guys some recommendations. Okay, so this is my main account right here. Let's go into my resonating haul. So these are all the different units at EX20 or 25. So the two units, right, if you are not sure whether or not your investment will be worth it, the two units which I'll strongly recommend you to get EX25, number one will be OD. Like OD has been one of my first EX25 and I had so much use with OD, right, for the early game gym realm stuff, for the AFK stage pushing, for the PvP contents, for his insta-kill prowess. This unit is just versatile and has been relevant for a really long time. So despite being around since the start of the game, OD has always been this character that comes in and out of the meta, and his insta-kill ability is one of the most unique part in the game because right now there's only two units that can instantly kill enemies if they are low enough in terms of HP. So OD's ability as well as his, I'll say, like, utility for the team is definitely going to hang for quite a bit, and he is a safe bet to invest your Twilight Essence to EX25. Right, he's one of the best carries around as well in terms of general versatility. His power level, even moving into the Endless Dream Realm, I think he's probably going to see some use with all the supports with the pure damage translation ability. So OD is definitely a safe bet. Another unit which I'll say in the previous few seasons was a safe bet, but right now I'll say it's still okay, is Lilime. So Lilime is one of the strongest PvP character right now, being able to negate ultimate at the start of battle, being able to go against some of the best units in the PvP like Iron or units which cast the ultimate at the start of battle. So other than just being a good anti-ultimate unit, this unit also does pretty well for bossing or damage related content, making this unit a good unit to benefit from the additional stats from EX15 to EX25. So for those of you guys who are not familiar with what EX16 to 25 give you, this is the amount of stats that you get, 1% per level from EX16 to 20. So a grand total of about additional 20% stats right here across 4 different stat line, and then a 0.5% increase per level from 21 to 25. So in terms of 16 to 25, it's more stats. So this more stats will give your units which you use a lot that additional survival percentage in the defense and the HP, and also additional damage in the attack percentage itself. So in terms of OD as well as Lilime, they are like the premier DPS units, one being really good for PvP, still decently good for all the damage related contents, and OD being just insanely versatile with the insta kill, with the damage for bossing, with the different modular teams for the AFK stage pushing side. So these two units, I think EX25 is pretty safe. Another unit which I'll say is pretty safe to get to 25 would be Feresto. So Feresto and Twins, I think these two units after this season or in this season is pretty safe. So Twins, because Twins is super duper meta right now, so you use Twins almost every single day for the meta Dream Realm teams. So I use Twins every single day, so I think 25 is definitely worth it. And I also try Twins with certain PvP teams in terms of like testing different team ideas and different synergies. And on top of that, Twins' ability right here actually gives more stats to the other allies based on the Twins' original stats itself. So the EX weapon bonus is going to benefit the team. It's going to benefit Twins in terms of surviving. So generally speaking, being a very meta character right now, EX25 is pretty decent. So Twins is for the meta relevancy. I'll say Feresto right now this season, it is still very strong, right? Like, I think for the Endless Dream Realm side, Feresto might not be the king of every single boss because of like the existence of Talessa as well as the existence of the physical type, right? There is a boss. What's her name? I think her name is Ilusia. Yeah, so Ilusia is a physical base boss where you need to use physical damage to deal with Ilusia. So Ilusia as well as our dear Talessa, I think Feresto won't be that good because yeah, magical attacker, and you can't actually attack lesser in Dream Realm with melee units. But in terms of the other bosses, I do think that Fresto will still remain relevant. Will he be the best unit for every single team? I think we will have to wait until we reach the max level, which is level 800, as well as the maximum equipment stats to actually judge on that. But in terms of Fresto's current utility, versatility, and also team building flexibility, I think he's definitely worth the additional stats to let him tank better, as well as do more damage itself, like I mentioned before. So Fresto is a unit which benefits a lot from EX15, so being able to upgrade him to EX15 is good, and then you toss in that additional like 15-20% worth of stats is going to make him a lot better to be used as a carry as well as a tanker, right? So this is a very, very versatile unit, one of the best tanks, if not the best tank in the game right now, depending on how you see it. So definitely worthy for 25. So these 4 units is worthy of that 25 range. So the other 25 that I have is actually Harak. So Harak is one of those steamrolling units where if he's able to actually start to kill people, if he's able to get additional stats, he will become a lot more powerful. So that additional EX weapon levels is to allow him to, like I mentioned earlier, survive better and do more damage. And on top of that, Harak is also one of those units that can benefit from the increase in his base stats. So this is where increase in the EX weapon level for the stats will make him stronger in terms of steamrolling, and that's why I brought Harak to 25. So some people might say that Harak is not as strong as he used to be, but I think Harak has always been this very steamrolling character. If given the opportunity to steamroll, will become really strong. So if he's not steamrolling, he's probably not going to be as good as he should be, but he is a character that scales the later you go into the levels and stats because of his true damage potential as well as HP base percentage damage. So this is for Harak's case. So another unit which I got to 25 is Skalita. So Skalita was one of my earlier 25. So right now, I think Skalita is not a unit you want to get to 25 because Skalita used to be quite good for PvE contents in Season 1 and also insanely good for PvP. So right now, Skalita has been relegated to, I'll say, more of a PvP-centric unit. So the additional stats, number 1, allows your Skalita to have more shielding on your allies itself, and also transfer part of the stats to the allies. So like I mentioned before, right, any units which can sort of transfer some stats to the allies will actually be very good with the additional stats, because the additional stats not only make that unit strong on its own, but also sort of carries over to the other allies itself. So Skalita used to be that unit, and that's why I upgraded her to EX25. I'm not gonna reset her weapon because I think for Skalita's case, her EX15 is insanely powerful for PvP, and she's a unit that can single-handedly turn the tides of battle. So I still use her from time to time, and I'm going to keep her at plus 25. But for most people, I wouldn't recommend, because if you haven't built her up, I think she's not as OP as she used to be. But this could change depending on how Deliv decides to sort of adjust the stats and give her a better ability next season. So that's for Skalita's case in terms of her EX weapon. So this is why I give her to 25. So if we take a look at like the collection right here, so Carolina was also one of my earlier plus 20s, because I used Carolina a lot in the earlier days of AFK journey. So for those of you guys who are not familiar, I actually got Carolina to plus 20 in the Song of Strife season. I think before Song of Strife season started, because we had like this like Twilight Essence storage. So I just upgraded to 20 because like the additional stats was for when I used Carolina in the earlier days for PvP, as well as with the Iron Arden combo. So in the earlier days, in terms of the Iron combo itself, Iron together with Carolina and Arden, right? These units, as you guys can see, they are all EX20 because they are some of the most commonly used units in the earlier days of AFK journey, and they were pretty busted both for PvP and PvE contents. So right now, they are still relatively useful. I still use Iron and Arden a lot. So I recommended the EX weapon level for Arden and Iron to be EX10 yesterday. But the EX15 for them, I'll say, is okay if you have the resources. The reason why they are at 20 is because they are the first few units that I got to 20, which I still use them a lot. So I'm not going to reset to get back the Twilight Essence. And then for Carolina's case, same thing. Carolina's usage definitely dropped by quite a bit. But I still use her for some AFK stages. For for certain contents like Relentless Rumble, like in Ravage Realm. So this unit is still useful from time to time. So I think I'll just keep her at EX20 because from EX21 to 25, as you guys can see, it's +5, 0.5 over here. So like the additional 2.5% stat across the board is not going to make that much of a difference. And since she's not as meta as she used to be, I don't think I need to upgrade to EX25. So this is for the 3 units I use a lot. So these are the EX20s. So that will be it. Now another unit which I got to EX20 in the earlier days is Talin. So yeah, Talin is one of those very early EX20s as well. Talin was together with Freyasto. Yeah, so Talin was upgraded to 20 because at the start I think Talin was I'll say pretty promising, so I used her quite a bit. I just upgraded her to 20, but later on as I saw her power level drop by quite a bit, I just kept her at EX20. So Talin's EX15 is also pretty okay, so that's why I keep her here. But in yesterday's video I recommended EX10 because right now in the current meta she's just not as good. So that's for Talin's EX20. Looking at the box over here, I think the brand new EX20 unit, one of the most current meta units, will be Sinbad. So Sinbad is a unit which I'll say can be worthy for that additional stats because he's like pretty powerful in all the Dream Realm bosses right now. So if you want to squeeze out more damage off your carries, I think Sinbad is quite okay. Right now I'm still holding because I think he might fall off in the later parts of Endless Dream Realm. So I think 15 is more than sufficient to keep my rank, so that's why he's still 15 here. But if you want to sort of get your top 20 consistently, if you are like on the verge of 21, 22, and then if you do have a Sinbad, then pushing him up in terms of EX weapon level might be a way for you to secure more damage. Let's see. Okay, so here we have Reyna. Reyna is also one of those units which I pushed to EX 15 very early on. So right now I think Reyna is not as good at EX15 compared to EX10. So like for most people, I'll recommend Reyna to be at EX10 for this level 3 ability. But for myself, he's at EX15 because he's one of the earlier meta units which are upgraded to 15. So that's why he's at 15. Oh, Mikola, yes. Okay, so Mikola is a unit which I think a lot of people actually ask me about. Oh, there's also Merrily. So I'll talk about Merrily in a little bit. So I think that's all the 20 and 25 units. Yeah, so my Damien's +15. Oh, Shakir and Huwin. Oh, yeah. Okay, so these are all the 20 units. So let me explain them. So right now, just now we were talking about Sinbad, right? So I think Sonya is also another unit that gives stats, but Sonya's stat buff is not based off her own stats. So Sonya is not a character that would actually benefit you a lot more by having the EX 16 to 20 advantage or 25 advantage. So that's why Sonya, I think 15 would be the best, right, for that damage reduction on your other allies. But in most cases, I think Sonya at +10 would be more than sufficient because her role is just to survive, do a little bit of damage, and get this massive buff percentage based off the stats of your other carries itself. So Sonya is okay. Very meta right now, but I don't think she needs +20 or 25. So now moving back to my +20 or +25 units. Okay, so Merrily, she used to be the queen of Dream Realm, so I'm probably gonna reset her EX weapon because like right now I just don't see that much use with her in terms of like general usage, and in the Dream Realm side you just have way better options to do damage there. So she is one of the queen of Dream Realm in the very early days of AFK journey, but definitely fallen off right now. So don't follow me. I think she would be good enough at +5 since you don't use her a lot, but if you want to sort of like use her for damage related contents, I think +10 for that additional 2.5% attack per stack is good enough for Merrily. So that's for Merrily's EX20. Mikola is also EX20. So let me explain why my Mikola is EX20. So yesterday, I think somebody mentioned that Mikola is actually good at 10. So like I mentioned before, any unit that sees a lot of play should be of highest priority to upgrade the EX weapon, right? So the reason why Mikola is at 20 is because Mikola actually like is seeing a lot of use for myself. So like every day in the Dream Realm side for all the bossing contents. So the only reason why I brought her to EX20 is because I use her a lot, and like I think that additional Twilight Essence that I have right, is very beneficial for her. So I just upgraded her to EX20. But then for Mikola's case, I think 10 is okay. 15 would be a luxury if you have the resource, but then 5 is more than sufficient to make like Mikola work. So any units which I recommend to be +5, they work at +5 as well. So the additional levels just gives you more stats and a better ability. But for example, for Hewin's case, I also recommend +5 because Hewin can work with the 300 initial energy, right? As well as that 32% less damage. So increase in level does give you like more damage reduction and a little bit of buff on the revitalize, but it's not compulsory for Hewin. So +5 is enough, but in my case, because I use Hewin so much in the PvP side that like I'm just gonna get her to +20, right? +25 is a bonus if I feel that she's like a trump card in my team, but Hewin has always been a very, very powerful PvP character for me, so I use her from the start till now, so I don't regret the additional level for her, especially when 16 to 20 gives her that additional 1% stats across 4 lines for 5 levels, so 20% worth of stats, really good. Then Shakir, okay, I totally forgot about Shakir. So the reason why Shakir is +25 is also because Shakir is a very versatile character. I use Shakir a lot for PvE contents with the Mikola aura, right now. In the past, Shakir was this aura carrier in the earlier days of AFK journey as well, and also one of the best PvP unit against Iron, against control in general. So that's why he was upgraded to +25. But as of the recent time, I think Shakir definitely is not as meta as he is. So I think Shakir, if you want to maximize his ability, I think +15 is more than sufficient for him to transform faster. The additional stat does make him a little bit tankier, so if you do use him for the PvP side like I do, I think you can still get him to 20 or even 25 if you like his design a lot and you have this usage for him. So that's for Shakir's case. But in most cases right now, if you were to ask me what are the EX20 and 25 priority, I think these units together with Freyasto, very neat. Twins also very good, and then any hyper carries that you're using. So I think Hara as a hyper carry is okay. Celestial Hyper G in general, if you have the resources to upgrade them, is okay. I think any specific hyper carries that you use in PvP, some people like their Lenya. I know Starlord likes their Lenya a lot. You can put them to +20 or +25. If you love your Sonya a lot, I don't see why you should not upgrade it to +20 and +25 because you use Sonya a lot as well. So yeah, in terms of the +20 and 25 range, the rule of thumb is if the unit is used a lot, or if you use the unit a lot yourself, then it is worth it, because that Twilight Essence gives additional stats which will strengthen these units that you are already using a lot so that you get more enjoyment out of them. So that's pretty much it, this EX20 and 25 recommendation. Hopefully this video is helpful for those of you guys who are still in a dilemma, and I'll see you guys again in my next AFK journey video. Bye guys!